So this one-in-a-kind coach, and you had a one-in-a-kind player in G. Ablett, didn't you?
Yeah, he was unbelievable, yeah.
And you were very close to Gaz, weren't you?
Yeah, we had a lot of chats over a period of time. Most blokes couldn't copy, but we used to go to state training. You know, there's 6 of us, so I generally drove Gazza, the other blokes went in the other car, and we'd talk about a lot of things. And look, he had a really good thought process about his footy. He understood it very well. A lot of people wouldn't think that he just played on instinct. He didn't. And I just asked him about that goal he kicked at Waverley. And I said, talk me through that. He said, I practiced that move on the bus. I said,
so in his mind?
In his mind. So he's setting his mind to, you know, balk this bloke and kick a 70-metre talk. And to me, that blew me away.
A lot of blokes couldn't copy. You're talking about...
Yeah,
what do you mean?
Well, because he wouldn't handball and he was different in that the way he trained and got away with things. But for me, I was happy for him to play because I played in a lot of grand finals. And I was lucky to play with him. But some blokes, because he didn't train much, he got away with a little bit too much. Blighty had, oh, well, we've got one special bloke here. He handled him very well, Blighty. He used to... Because Blighty, I think, was a pretty special player in his own right. So he understood the workings of the man. 1995, Gary Ayres is your coach. Yeah.
Do you know what I'm going to ask you here, do you?
Oh, well,
it's the eve of finals.
Yeah.
There's an edict that there's a compulsory Sunday morning training session, correct?
That's right. We got beaten by Carlton. We were poorly beaten. And he said, if anybody doesn't turn up the next day, you're not playing the next week. Yeah, not playing the next week. Anyway, Gaz had been on a bit of a he had a bit of a drink.
You call him a bender?
Yeah, he had a bit of a bender, And so I lived next door to him, a couple of 100 metres away. So I knew...
It's a big property next door.
Well, I knew he'd been struggling. I knew he was struggling, and you know, just mentally, and so I went over that morning, that Sunday morning, and I was a little bit worried about him. So I went and little Gazza was there. I said, "Oh, where's the big fella?" And he said, "Oh, he's down in the bedroom." And so I went down, and I shook him to wake him up, thinking I'd woken him up enough. I said, "Oh, come on, Gaz, we've got to go to training. You know, we've got to get you there." And he didn't turn up till very, very late, and was too late. What I should have done is got him in the car and took him with me. I thought I'd woken him up enough. He went back to sleep, didn't turn up, so as he said, he's not playing.
But it was a coaching edict, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Don't turn up, don't play.
Yeah, he probably shouldn't have played. But for me, I was a bit selfish because I wanted him to play because we had a chance of winning. If you haven't got Gazza in there, it's a bit hard to...
So he ended up playing couch. So what happened? Who changed Ayres' mind?
Well, I think the committee did. I think Ron and then said, look...
Ron Hovey?
Yeah, well, I think he did. I'm not quite sure. I don't hold it. And, yeah, I think he did... well, they made him change his mind and Gazza played. He didn't play well, but, you know...
Does it undermine the coach's authority when the committee comes in and sort of says, mate, this is Gary Ablett we're talking about here, he's got to play?
I think it does, yeah. I think it does undermine it. You know, when you look back on it, you know, at the time I wanted him to play, so undermine or nothing, I just wanted him to play. It's still, you know, respected Ayres, you know, but I could see where his point was, Ayres, that he got undermined from it. You and Ayres weren't close, were you? Oh, well, I played under him for a few years, yeah. No, well, look, I respect Ayres as a player. I think he was a fantastic player.
Do you respect him as a coach?
Oh, well, he did a reasonable sort of job, yeah. No, I couldn't say he was bad.
Short answer, no.
I do respect him, but, you know, he wasn't one of my better coaches, let's put it that way.
Grand final day 1995. I don't know if you know this. One of your mates said that you blew up at half-time against Carlton. You're playing Carlton, you're down, and you went crazy in the rooms at half-time.
Oh, I was a bit angry in the 10-minute mark of the first quarter, Mike. You know, they were shredding us to pieces. You got to make changes, put them in an awkward spot. And we weren't doing it, and we were getting flogged. And anyway, I was getting angrier and angrier, and it'd been... Because I'd lost 3 grand finals, and it was looking pretty ordinary.
Because this is probably your last crack, isn't it?
It was, you know. I come in half-time, I was pretty steamed up. And Paul Armstrong was the footy manager at the time, so... So I grabbed him by the throat and nearly put him up against the wall. Yeah, I grabbed him by the throat. Yeah. I said, listen, I don't know what you're doing up there, but it ain't working. Not in those words. I was pretty angry. I said a few things. I said, we need to man up. said, let's change the game around. Their kick-outs, we can't touch it. And I had a few more words. I said, if you don't change it, I'm not going out there, I'm going to get embarrassed. Like, I am embarrassed now, but I'm not going out to play. So anyway, he came back and said, yeah, they've made the decision to go man on man. So now third quarter come, Buddha forgets to pick up Bradley, so they get the first kick out. Second kick out, we actually were competitive. We actually got the ball back in. I think we kicked a point. From then on, the game started to get on even terms, but we weren't on even terms in the first half.
Your connections with a club that's recently won 3 flags and has been one of the great teams in footy history. Are you jealous?
If they'd won it in '97, I would have been jealous. You know, missed out all those years. But no, I was wrapped for them. Absolutely, genuinely wrapped.
I know, of course you wrapped for them.
Yeah, I wasn't
because
jealous.
Because you're a Geelong legend. But I mean, do you feel like sometimes blokes are just born in the wrong generation, aren't they?
They are. You know, you are. Like we had 12 or 13 very good players, but we didn't have a full list. You know, for them in '07 to rock up against Port Adelaide, which I rated probably 10th or 12th side in the competition, and Gaz had played on Wakeley, he might have kicked 14, but.
I like Darryl Wakeley.
I probably do too, but Gaz still would have kicked 14 on it.
You played 18 finals, Scoutsy. 18.
Yeah. And
averaged, I think, 23 possessions. You could find the footy, couldn't you?
Well, that was my job, really. And Blighty said to me, after we lost the '89 grand final, we need you to be in the top 3 in the finals for us to win it. So he put the heat on me a bit. But yeah, no, I had to win the ball, you know, just go and play. Like I say to my kids, if you're going to get nervous, you might as well sit with me. You just got to go. Yeah, you just
but how can you how can you make your body not be nervous?
Just concentrate on the ball.
Oh, you're talking about when the game's on?
Yeah, when the game's on, just concentrate on the ball. You can't do anything during the week. When you get there, you just got to concentrate on the ball. Know what you know what you're going to do. You know what the opposition are going to do. So it's just reading the ball, watching the ball. I used to do the tapes on the centre bounces, throw-ins, more than anybody else when I was playing. So I had an understanding of what the opposition were doing and what I was doing, basically.
That '94 grand final. What are you laughing at? You played West Coast.
Yeah. They
were big boys, weren't they? Oh,
they were massive. From '92 to '94, they had muscles on their muscles, and I couldn't believe how big they were. And I remember, this is true, I was half-time of sort of going off the ground. I see the Little League roll onto the ground. And I'm going, I should be with these blokes.
Really?
So, no, then I can get a kick. That's how big
they were. That big?
Oh, yeah. I thought I was playing in Little League. It was out of my league. They were just so big.
Were you surprised how big they'd become in a relatively short period?
Oh, I was. You know, they were massive. You know, Djakovic and Mainwaring, they got pumped right up. I don't know what they were on. They were good steaks over there.
Good steaks?
Yeah, I reckon. Yeah.
Okay.
But I thought I was out of my league. So...
I talked about your best and fairest. I want to ask you about the third one. 1995 was your third, correct?
Yep, yeah.
Gary Ablett had a big year in '95.
Yeah, massive.
Missed a couple of games through suspension. I think that might have helped you win the BNF, did it?
Yeah, we're playing the Bulldogs, and Alan Joyce, I think, was coaching the Bulldogs down at Kenya Park. And they certainly targeted me. Like, I think
they
photo shot. Oh well, a lot of the Bulldogs halfback.
What, the so-called at the time WOG squad? Yeah. Well, that's what I think they called.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they were into me from the first bounce, and they were scratching and biting and pulling me and doing all sorts of stuff. And Gazza was full forward. I was playing on the half-forward flank, and he was getting a bit upset for it.
Because he could see it happening. He
could see it happening. Yeah, they were getting right into me. Anyway, he said to me, "Cadgy, just when you get down to the forward line, you know, you're playing half-forward flank, just float down to the full forward and I'll sort these blokes out." Anyway, so I sort of float down to the forward pocket and the blokes are still chasing me.
Who were you playing on, Paul?
Collingwood, I think I was. I'm not quite sure.
Stephen Collingwood?
Yeah, I think it was one of the... He apologised after. And so I'm floating down in the forward pocket. Then I could see Gazza out of the corner of my eye coming steaming straight at Rowan Smith. And it was like a freight train going past, and he's just cleaned up Rowan Smith and knocked him out. Cost him 2 weeks.
And the BNF.
Yeah. He was a dangerous man, Gazza. He knocked out a lot of people.
He did. Tell me the story. Is it fact or fiction about your father, Billy? Did he lose?
He blew his hand off.
He blew his hand off?
Yeah, he blew his hand off with overloaded shotgun.
Yeah. Now, literally blew his hand off.
Blew his hand off. There was a bit of skin holding the hand together.
Yep.
He had up to his face, he said. Then he put it down and blew his hand off. I mean, he still had the gun. It was a double-barrel shotgun, and it split like that. So he was lucky to live anyway. He had 7 kids. So. Yeah. And look...
But didn't he... How soon after that did he play... He played Hampden League footy, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah. He was a very good player. And I think he played 3 or 4 months after blowing his hand off.
Wow.
And he played with blood-soaked bandages, and he adjusted his hand so he could mark the ball. Play with a broken leg once. And
did he?
And he actually played a game against Naranda South. They were pretty combatants, you know, like they didn't like each other. They were local footy. And I come in, I was milking the cows, and he come in, he had a big split in his hand. This is how tough he was. He said, I knocked out 4, but the 5th one, I've got his teeth and split my hand open. I said, you silly bugger, what are you doing? I think he was about 40 at the time. And no, he split his hand and he knocked out 5 blokes.
Did he really? In a pub fight or something?
No, it was playing a game of footy.
Playing footy?
Yeah. And he got penicillin to heal it up, because that's what he did. They put some... Well, his arm was like that. And he was extraordinarily tough. And I don't know that, but I was only been by folklore. Yeah. He played with 13 league footballers at Warrnambool, and he was probably the best player. Really? He actually had a game with South Melbourne. All he had to do was turn up. He didn't turn up. His father said, you leave the farm, that's it. In those days, it was pretty hard.
Life's tough at Boggy Creek, is it?
Oh, yeah, you got to earn your stripes.
Yeah. Now, your boy Tom, your roles are reversed. You missed an early opportunity when you were a teenager and thought it might be over. How difficult was it watching Tom sort of crave for his chance at AFL level and have to wait so long?
As a parent, it's probably not what I did. It was pretty tough, yeah. Because he just loved the footy. He wore out the 89 state game, Vic versus South Australia. He watched it over and over again. He just loved his footy. He'd be out kicking the footy all the time. If I wasn't there, he'd be getting his granddad out there to play and have a kick. So it was pretty tough. Early on, he wasn't a really good player, but he used to stand in the right spots. You know, he's a young kid, pretty light. Then after a while, he started to get it all together and had a crack. He had his opportunity with Melbourne.
Melbourne, yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty tough seeing him go through it, because he just wanted to play league footy like any kid. And you'll see that, you know, with the TAC Cup, kids just want to play footy. And so, unfortunately, you know, he played a couple of years at Melbourne, didn't get a great opportunity.
Did he get a fair crack at it?
Well, they played really well some games at Casey in the reserves, and when you play somebody, you play them when they're at their best. And sometimes I thought he might get a game and didn't get a game. Then when he did get a game, he was probably at his tiredest. So he wasn't at his best to play, because at a late pre-season, his first year was very good, and I thought he might have played a game in the MCG because it was nice and wet, you know, and they probably needed a player like him to play that day, and no, he'd missed his opportunity really.
Your role as a garbo. Gary Hocking did it, you did it.
Yeah.
Why were you a garbo?
Well, no real reason. It was just to get fit.
It was fitness driven, was it?
Fitness driven, basically, yeah. It wasn't to do anything else. Like,
so you'd run the roads, and did you literally pick the bins up?
Oh, we picked them up. We used to stack them up and rack them up, yeah. It was amazing. Like, I'd train on a Wednesday night, be very sore, really sore the next morning, Thursday morning, and the bloke was a Russian who was driving, and if I was slow, he didn't like that. So he'd go faster in front of you, he'd go in front of you, so you had to catch up. So about half an hour, after half an hour, I'd loosen up and get going. Really good for freeing up your body and going again. I used to run 8 or 10k on a Friday.
Did you really? And
think about Saturday, like if I could run 8 or 10k on a Friday, how are they going to stop me on a Saturday? So your mindset's good. But
is that a good prep to run 8 or 10k's on the roads on a Friday, the day before a game?
Never worried me. Never worried you. Yeah, no, you just keep going.
Hey mate, great career. Thanks. Look, it was an outstanding career. Lots of games, lots of. It's just I'm sure that there's a hole in your CV with no premierships, but you're entitled to be really proud of what you've done, and we love watching you play, Couchy.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Good on you. Cheers.
This has been a Fox Footy production.
A proud member of the Fox Sports family.